constant, one of my favorite episodes of Lost Movie ever. And I know that must have been a really tricky episode to plot and map out, and wonder if you could kind of talk about what was that a challenging episode to write?
Well, I think, normally it takes us a couple of weeks, usually 2 weeks to break a Lost episode, and that one took us 5 weeks. And in fact, the strike kind of came along at just the right time, because we had we exhausted all of our lead time and sort of depleted all of our resources breaking that story, and so we were writing right behind production. We were completely sort of zapped, and it was a good time to go on strike.
We found that was an episode that was almost impossible to explain to somebody. We remember having conversations basically saying, give us more time, but, Desmond's consciousness from the present on the way to the freighter gets misplaced so that he's back in the early 90s when he's still in the military, but he's completely confused as to where he is or when he is. But in the end, he's going to make out with Penny. And and people were just like, I don't understand, what do you mean his consciousness? We're like, you just have to let us show you, but sort of on a beat by beat basis. And then, giving all the exposition to Faraday, whose voice we were still finding, and Jeremy had only been on the show for really 4 episodes at that point. Kind of when do you explain to an audience what the rules of time travel are, and when do you just let them figure it out for themselves?
We worked really hard to try to find a balance, that there was an emotional payoff to the story, that it wasn't, that we didn't just basically spend the entire episode trying to explain our concept of consciousness travel, and that it built to something that was emotional and genuine and that kind of transcended the mythology of the episode.
And it didn't hinge on technobabble, it hinged on emotion, which was great.
Brian, by the way, is a huge Lost fan.
I loved that episode. I thought it was the best episode of TV last year.
Hi guys, it's Ethan from Brooklyn. It's Josh Friedman and for Darlton. Just questions about time travel. Time travel is obviously a big part of Terminator, a big part of Lost, and we can mention Heroes and tons of Hollywood films that are using time travel as a big component. The question is, any concern that device might become overused, or people might get tired of time travel popping up everywhere?
We'll tell you yesterday.
That's always gold.
I told you tomorrow.
Seriously, here all weekend. We hope that we are putting our own spin on time travel, and as Damon mentioned earlier, for us the key to time travel and Lost is that there is no paradox. So we aren't postulating alternate futures. We're not postulating a scenario where our characters can alter their future. If you've seen a flash forward, that event is immutable. It's not changeable. So as we sort of use that as a guiding criteria, that we hope is going to define time travel on our show in a way that's, that isn't in, an exact copy of other movies that you've seen. Nevertheless, as Josh was talking about going down the rabbit hole and spending 6 hours talking about time travel, I was in my mind going, 6 hours? That's nothing.
I just want to say, very briefly, that the greatest thing that could ever be uttered in the halls of the networks is, we have too many shows about time travel. It's like, we have 14 cop shows and 19 hospital shows and 35 legal shows, but the time travel show is just too many. So if we could somehow get them to critical mass so people started complaining about it, I think that would be a huge achievement for everyone in this room.